Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Devin Rex for Art here, and today I'm going to be showing you first signature in my Halloween journal that's complete. Most of the images came from this antiquarian sticker book. It has lots of awesome, cool, different images. And from this source book for collage and decoupage. It's a very old book, and I just went in and found a lot of the spookier images, and I photocopied them. Some I enlarged, some I made smaller. So it's a pretty awesome book. I used a lot of wording from this Tim Holtz Ideology sticker book. So it has lots of creepy sayings, which I wouldn't have thought on my own. Lastly, a lot of the bits and bobs were from another Tim Holtz Ideology ephemera pack. This is an older one. I believe I got it last year. Yeah, 2019. So let's get started. I went through a lot of the jelly plates prints that I had done in part one, and I just embellished them, added to them. So for example, this video of this on my Instagram, I just added a bit of black paint around and then a couple of the Tim Holtz stickers. So the one that's apothecary, and this one says a strange feeling comes over you. And for my sugar skulls from the jelly plating part one, I just added a few little details in the corners. This was a wooden spider that I had jelly plated on, and then I just added a bit of this color shift orange flash to give it gives it sort of a purpley orange shimmer. This one I didn't do in part one. So it's a cat using a mask. Actually, I did a lot of similar prints to that on Kathy Berg's stream. So I just added some green paint to some of the ephemera and this cat on top. And on this jelly print, it was already pretty much, I was happy with it. I just added Deep in the Secret Chambers of My Heart from the Tim Holtz sticker pack. And then these pockets, what I did was I took a gift bag from the dollar store. So I have a striped one and a zigzag one. Just cut this side open, fold it in half, and then pop it into there, and then there's your little pockets. This one I saw on Lori Jersey Crafter. Someone had sent her a pocket with the little corners bent. I thought that was pretty cute. I have these eyeballs from this ribbon from the dollar store. I just cut a few out, give them little angry eyebrows, and put a few on the back, along with some ephemera. And this one too, I just added a bit of ephemera to the pocket, H for Halloween. And then this was from some of the scrapbooking paper I had cut down to put in the journal, and it had little sayings on the top section. This says, "The air is different on Halloween, full of chills and thrills." And this one I already had a tag done, so I used that as a sizing, and I used some green staples to separate that pocket into two. So I'll just show you the tags. So this one, Dorothy liked anything spooky. Put some shiny ribbon on there. So I just used odds and ends of things I had around and added some stamping to it, some stickles. And then I made this pretty simple tag. It just says Happy Halloween. And I just colored some plain ribbon with some alcohol markers to make it green and purple. I used the staples, green staples. I've got some staples of different colors, so they just fit in a regular stapler. And then I made this other tag, just using one of the scrapbook pages I had cut down. I added some wording there, and then made a little collage on the back with some googly eyes. Sort of thought it was like a flower or alien. This jelly print, I didn't do anything to it. That's how it turned out, and I thought it was pretty good just like that. This page I had a lot of fun with. Added just a bunch of candy, some swirls, spider. These are both from that source book. This was something I had in my scrapbooking stash from a long time ago. And then I just put some mist up through the candies. And it says, warning inscription, the true purpose of Halloween. This page was inspired by the scrap chick, Colleen, with her googly eye. I had made some cards. This is a copy of one of them. So this was actually this size, and it's just using Distress Oxide inks on the jelly plate. I don't think I did a video of this one, but I used a felt pumpkin on the jelly plate and some Distress Oxides to make that print, and then a stamp set I had to add some wording. So this was made a similar way. And then I enlarged it on my photocopier. And then I just used some stamps for the background, added a few cards. And when I was playing with this effect, I made a lot of different variations of the pumpkin. So I just cut them all out of the cards that I had and just added some fun little googly eyes. This was a stamp I had that I just put onto magazine paper and colored it in. This page, again, it's from that source book, the background, and I used the jelly plate to colorize it. I did that on Kathy Bergstream as well. After the stream, I did add a little bit of yellow here just to highlight that. And on this lady, I had drawn some little fangs, and I glued those guys down. This is another envelope pocket where it's two sides, and I just cut the other end open. And I had I had done a jelly plate of this on Kathy Bergstream as well, when I jelly plated with Kathy and Colleen. And speaking of Colleen, she sent me this napkin, so I thought it would make a fun insert. And she also sent me these little eyeballs, and I had this other green eyeball, so I put those together on a jelly plate, jelly print background. Eyes fixed unwaveringly upon them. What horrors had they seen? Instead of a corner rounder, I used a circle punch to make an indent. This page I had jelly printed in part 1, and all I had added to this on the scrapbook paper were these white lines on the jelly plate. So I thought it reminded me of sort of like a collection, so I used just some stickers from the antiquarian sticker book. I fussy cut them, but not all the way to the edge. I left a little bit of a border to give sort of like a glow. I added some stickers and so wording, and I shadowed around the inside of each little box. It didn't have outer lines, so I added those with some scrapbook paper. If you can see that those are actually raised up on the edges. So there's insects and bats and some strange creatures from that sticker book. This was a page I had done last year during some Halloween prompts with Colleen, the scrap chick, and I think Beth Schuler. I don't remember what the prompts were, but that's what I ended up with. I did obviously some collage. I used some sprays, dilution sprays, Distress Oxide sprays. This was a jelly print in the background with the transfer. These on the bottom, those were jelly prints that I had done. And then I also did this skull on part 1 of my Halloween extravaganza, and then I just added a bunch of different ephemera. Some of them I colorized. Added a bit of rust on these scissors. It's kind of creepy. It's interesting that I don't really like watching horror movies, but this stuff doesn't really creep me out. I just find it kind of fun. I don't take it too seriously. And so here's the other side of that envelope. I added a little gravestone and the caption, "The Gravedigger has arisen." And I did this jelly print also on Kathy Bergstream. There's a little skeleton there with a little window and some splatters. In a second. So I did this insert card So the first side has that grave digger that arose. So this is a print from the source book with a sticker from the antiquarian sticker book, and I colorized it on jelly plate, fussy cut the skeleton from the source book, added a bit of my jelly prints. On the back I had some tissue, gift tissue, that's these skulls, so I just glued that on and cut it a little bit bigger, just using some decal scissors, decal edge scissors, a Sudoku that's colorized with some Distress Oxide inks. And then these are from the Tim Holtz ephemera pack. And I just sort of added a bit of color, kind of grunged it up a bit more, added a bit of that orange. So this kind of gave me like a seance-y theme, so I went with that for the journal, so for the envelope cover. So I already had, all I had on here was some orange and this window. So I added a few little elements. I added some stamping in the purple Distress Oxide around and just cut those guys out. Again, these are from the Tim Holtz ephemera pack. This is from the sticker book. The eye in the book was a bit too large, so I photocopied it and shrunk it down. And these are just from the dollar store. I jelly plated a bit of texture on that stopwatch from that source book, just to give it some interest and so it wasn't so white. And then I just tucked in a jelly print I had done a while ago, so there's no video on that. I've done some pretend scripting, Robin McClendon style, but obviously not as good as hers, just my little take on it. And I just glued it together and put a sticker on so it would look sort of fancy. Oh yeah, so these pockets here, I made this little tag. This is some craft cardstock with just some Distress Oxide inks that were topped up one day. Just added a few little things to that. This was a roll-off paper. It's from a phone book, and so it had some neat colors. I just glued that on, added that Tim Holtz card. This is my zine that I made for Dee Dee's Zine Swap, so I'm not going to show it because she might show it on her channel. I might show it another day. And then on the back, I had this fellow. I thought it would be neat because he's not super creepy. I thought it would be neat to cut him in half, put him on some sort of hedgehoggy type of animal, and just some black and white stickers. I heard a strange noise. This one I had a jelly print back. I used these glitter gel through a stencil, made stars through stencil, let that dry. Then I did the trees through stencil, let that dry. And this is just a piece of alcohol ink on Yupo that I had left over that I had cut with the circle cutter twice to make it like a moon. So I think that's kind of fun and glittery. And while I was stamping this, I had done some off stamping on a piece of white paper. So I did orange on the other side, and I made a little tab on this flap. And this page I added, this wasn't super scary. I had done a jelly print. I don't think I showed that on my part one because it wasn't that interesting, but I included it in my journal, and I added these little creatures from the antiquarian sticker book, and I fussy cut them down as much as I could, and then I added some tentacles. Here, that's one of those Distress Oxide on the jelly plate pumpkins I had done. This part was white, so I just sprayed on some red paint, stuck on a card, couple stickers, troublesome endings. We have these figures coming in through the side, and I don't know what kind of animal that is, but out of the hollow. I thought it sort of went with this Lost in the Woods, because you can sort of see his tail here. And I had braided on some purple flash. I don't know if you can see that, just onto that black paper. You see that? That was white, so I filled it in with some offcuts from when I added the scrapbooking paper. And, oh, I didn't mention, this says, something wicked this way comes, because these things look creepy to me. And the last page, this is an old jelly print I had, different layers, and that's not on video. And I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have a big spider? So he's from the sticker book, the antiquarian sticker book, and this Mothman. And then I just wrapped a copper or rose gold thread around him and made like a little thread going back to the spider. And then I just added some blue paint around with some stamping. So that's the first signature. It's getting pretty fluffy. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. I am planning to do at least the second signature this year, maybe the third. I hope you enjoy my book, and thanks for watching.